Hey guys, what is happening? I just got back from a run and I've been doing a lot of thinking. It's something I do a lot. This is something that I've been wanting to write about or speak about for a couple of years now because it's something really, really, really important to me, and I figured I wanted to share my experience with you all, and maybe you feel the same way. Maybe you're like, oh, this lady's crazy. So my run induced this. Let me preface this by saying I am not a doctor. I am not a psychologist. I really just base a lot of what I think about on what I read in scientific papers and in spiritual papers and in speaking to people and intuitively as well. So I've always been an athlete, right? I've played sports since I was a kid. I loved it. Sports for me was my way to interact with the world and interact with the people in it, playing with them, playing against them, all that other stuff is what kept me alive and kept me sane, or as sane as possible. For many, many years. When I played sports in college. We went to the Final Four in lacrosse. We did really, really well. We were in the Hall of Fame and everything else like that. And instead of, after graduation, going and getting a job in a museum, doing something else that I love, I decided to become a fitness instructor. And I loved being a fitness instructor. It was so much fun. I got to really know a lot of people. I loved teaching them. I loved being around them. I loved being in their presence and learning from them as much as I was hoping to teach them. And I did that for years. I started when I was, tried coaching for a little while after college, and then after I realized I wasn't a lacrosse coach, or I didn't know if I was going to be a good lacrosse coach. I figured, why not become a fitness instructor? So when I was 25, I started becoming a fitness instructor. Started with spinning, and then eventually evolved to being a total body instructor, and eventually I made my way to Pilates. Now, I did that for years. It was something that kept me going. I would wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go teach a 6 a.m. class. I would teach until 8 o'clock at night, and I would go drive all over the island to just be able to share in people's lives for just a little bit, teaching them to move their bodies, teaching them to do all the things that maybe they don't feel like they can do on their own, which is a whole nother story, because I think that you guys all have it in you to do said things. But I did it for a long, long time, and it was something that motivated me, drove me, and defined me. And as I moved from my 20s into my 30s, and the recession happened and everything, I knew it wasn't necessarily sustainable. So I went to graduate school, and yet I still found myself returning to fitness. And I stayed there for a couple more years afterwards. And then I started to realize that fitness it's so much. I'm not taking away from everyone that's ever taken my class, because I know what it means to you. I know what it does in your life and how it enriches it and everything else like that. But I want to speak to you today about what it did for me in the long run, because I think it directly reflects everything that's happening now in the world, with our immunity, with our bodies, with the way we move, the way we think, the way we act, all of those things. So I worked for a gym in which I taught for hours at a time, one class after another, listening to some really crappy music, really, really loud. Some of it I loved. I don't know. The club part of me would play this music and be like, yeah, this is totally motivating. But it took its toll. And like I said, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, but I'm gonna let you know what it did for me. Being in an environment like that, no matter how wonderful the people were that took my classes, it started going from health to toxicity. And how that happened was that you're in this environment where you're trying to get people to do something incredibly healthy, but you're doing it in a way where you're constantly bombarded. So for me, being in a classroom where I was teaching for hours at a time took a strain on my adrenal system. My cortisol levels skyrocketed, and I was constantly in fight or flight mode, and that in the long run is not beneficial. because for me, after teaching for so long and laughing with people and playing around with them and getting them to get stronger and everything else like that, I found myself weakening. I found my thoughts were not straight. I was bouncing all over the place. I couldn't focus, and a lot of it I think attributed to being in that constant fight or flight, that constant bombardment on that system that was meant to be healthy, but on the other side it wasn't. So 2 years ago, I made the decision to stop teaching because of my own personal health and my own personal need for some semblance of sanity. And so, like I said, being in that environment where you are around people that are wonderful and excited and wanting to work out is a wonderful thing. But on the other side of it, what it actually does. All right, so like I said, I'm gonna reiterate this a lot because maybe other people have other opinions. I am not a scientist. The closest I've come to anything in terms of physical therapy is taking the classes necessary to become a fitness instructor. But I have done a lot of reading and I've done a lot of research, and after I stopped teaching, my system crashed, because I was no longer in that heightened sense of stimulation. And I fell into a very deep, dark depression. Now, why does that happen? Intuitively, I'm going to speak to you about why that might happen, is because when we are constantly bombarded, constantly stimulated, and that's what kind of environment we work in at the moment, we are overstimulated. Everything we see, we look online, we have thousands of pictures. We see more pictures in a day than if you were alive in 1986 you would have seen in the entire year. What does that do? Your brain can't focus on it. So what does your brain do? When your brain has to do it, it pulls away from your immune system. All right, so basically then it's trying to figure out. You're throwing it into this massive confusion, right? So you're confusing your body, you're confusing your brain. Go, 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 go. That's what we tell ourselves in this modern world, that we constantly need to be busy, that we constantly need to be doing something, that we need to be aware of everything that is going on in the world. And on the other side of that, with that heightened awareness, we're not, because our brains can't focus on all of that. So like I said, after I taught for many, many years in an environment that was extremely toxic, my body just screamed at me to stop. And so I took that time to heal, and I think that in a way, like, it took a really, really, really long time, and I had to climb out of this feeling of helplessness, this feeling of not needing to be stimulated all the time, this feeling of all that stuff. And so the reason that I'm talking about this today is because I think it relates to what we are seeing now. That we, even if you don't work out, even if you don't go to a gym that asks you to do all the things that the gym that I worked at did, we are in this heightened state of fight or flight. Every day we are put in that situation, and it's not necessarily that we're in danger or anything else like that, but we have music everywhere, we have noise everywhere, we have images that we can't absorb or that we feel like we need to see or share or all that other stuff, and we are constantly bombarding each other with all of this stuff, and our bodies are going to react to that. Our bodies are going to sit there and either say, yes, I can handle this, it's not a big deal, this is normal. But in reality, it's not necessarily normal. It's like, and we have to think that as we binge watch all of these shows, as we do all of these things, that what effect it has on us, and what we can do to perhaps potentially slow it down or stop it. Now, I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but this has been a long process of me thinking and everything else like that, and it makes sense to me because I don't know, I think that what we're seeing now, especially with the coronavirus, is that everyone is so afraid of this, and we should be, because it's a scary thing. We haven't witnessed a global pandemic on a scale like this in a really long time, but we have to think to ourselves how we got here. All right, so if you think about your immunity, there's talk about, oh, if you download this app, you'll know that someone else has the coronavirus. But what else are we doing to build our immunity? We can sit there and have this app and be like, oh my gosh, that person has a coronavirus, I'm gonna stay 6 feet away from them, or I'm not gonna put myself in that situation. But if we build our immunity, if we sit there and say, my health is important to me, no app is gonna determine that, okay? You're gonna decide how much you sleep at night, what you expose yourself to on a regular basis, what you listen to, what you see, what you think, what you hear. All of those things have an effect on our bodies. Our immune system is a beautiful, wonderful, incredible thing. On any given day, we're exposed to so many different elements, and our bodies fight that. But when we constantly bombard our bodies and we're asking it to fight everything, it's not gonna know the difference between a loud noise and anything else. Does that make sense? Because it makes sense to me. If we just continuously suppress our immune system or drive it to madness, then we have more of an opportunity to make ourselves sick or get sick or expose ourselves to, or greater vulnerability to said that. So basically what I'm saying is that when we think about the coronavirus and everything else that is going on, it's environmental as much as it is physical. If we look to boost our immune system, if we sit outside, if we go for walks, if we tell ourselves that we don't need to bombard ourselves anymore, then maybe we'll become a little less susceptible to it. If we're more aware of what we are able to do in our own bodies, then maybe there's a way to combat this more so than downloading an app or staying inside and everything else like that. I mean, there is merit to that. We have flattened the curve and everything else like that. But ask yourself what you are doing to boost your immunity. Are you eating healthy? Are you sleeping the necessary hours at night? Are you looking at your phone all of the time? Are you having conversations that are healthy? Are you thinking healthy thoughts? I know for me, I don't always have healthy thoughts. I don't always think in a positive way, and I have to fight that every single day. But like, I think that what I'm saying is that we need to hold ourselves accountable. We need to sit there and say what we are doing to ourselves in order to strengthen ourselves. And basically, just get outside, move your body, put your phone down. Put your phone down. That's all you need to do. And then, I know I'm saying this as I'm doing it on a video and I'm gonna share it on YouTube and everything else like that, but what I'm saying is that take yourself out of the environment that puts strain on your immune system, that weakens it, that makes it more vulnerable, and put yourself in an environment that does not do that. Turn your phone off. Go outside. Don't feel like you need to go, because guess what? That's what's not going to get us healthier. If we keep on going, if we keep on pushing ourselves to our absolute limits, which is a wonderful thing, but recognize what your body needs to do in terms of healing it as well. For me, going back to being a fitness instructor and so basically what I'm saying is that I'm equating my time in a fitness environment, in a loud gym, to how my body felt afterwards. I developed a gluten intolerance, and that could also be environmental as well. But my body chose between taking care of my digestive system and taking care of my overall health. If you look at it like that, sometimes that happens. You can get IBS, you can get all those other things. So if you look at your environmental issues, do you want to constantly bombard yourself? Do you want to be inundated with images, with noise, with sound, with ideas, with other people's thoughts? Or do you want to have quiet? And I think that moving forward with this is that use this time to get quiet. Use this time to turn off your phone. It doesn't need to be on at night. Use this time to not look at what everybody else is thinking on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on all of those things. Everybody thinks they have the answers, but we don't have the answers. We don't have any of them. And, you know, as fitness might help, yeah, that's a wonderful thing. Fitness and moving your body is a wonderful thing. But the thing is, we also have to take into account that thousands of years of evolution, we went from walking miles and miles and miles a day to most people not even walking a third of a mile during a day. That's not natural. Being in a loud, obnoxious environment, going to the gas station, and having to listen to advertisements, that is not natural. Seeing thousands of images in a day that you might not even remember is not natural. So when we think about our health, when we think about our immune system, think about what are natural ways for you to do that. Is it going to be in an obnoxious environment, or is it going to be where you step back and reconnect with yourself? So what like I was saying was that as a fitness instructor, as someone that worked in that environment, I found myself more detached from who I was and what I wanted to explore. Yes, do I want to run a really fast mile? Fuck yeah. Do I want to be really strong? Hell fucking yes, I do. I want all of those things. I want to be able to do all of the push-ups. I want to be able to build my muscles and everything else like that. But I also want to have that mind-body connection. So basically what I'm saying is that when we think about fitness and we think about all that other stuff, we want to think about not disconnecting, because that's what happens when you pick up your phone or you pay attention to everything else. You want to think about reconnecting to who you are. So going back to what I was saying before, I find that, like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist or anything else like that. I'm just a person that went through a really dark depression this past year, trying to battle with getting back to connecting with myself instead of disconnecting, and thinking that if I just kept on pushing, kept on going, kept on doing as much as I could, that somehow that would make me stronger or more successful. I think that I have a lot of other thoughts on this, but basically what I'm trying to say is that when you think of your immune system and when you think of your health, think about the ways in which you can promote it within yourself, and not relying on the technology that's going to tell you that you took 10,000 steps. 10,000 steps is a wonderful start, but keep going. All right? Walk. Put your phone down. Don't let yourself be distracted. Don't let yourself be disconnected with everything. Connect to yourself. Connect to your breathing. Connect to your thoughts. Otherwise, other people's thoughts will become your own. And in a world where we are now socially distancing and we can't connect with those people around us, we are 6 feet apart from them. Don't allow that to get any further, and don't allow yourself to get 6 feet apart from yourself. So when you exercise and you do all that other stuff, think about these things. Breathe, move. Don't be reliant on anybody but yourself. Turn off your phone. Turn off the music. Do all that other stuff. This might sound like a crazy rant. This might sound like something that you're like, what is this lunatic talking about? Or maybe you felt it. Maybe you felt it in environments like that. Maybe you felt like, wait, I'm healthy. I do all these things every day. I eat healthy. I drink a lot of water and everything else like that. But why do I still feel anxious? We are anxious because of the environments that we are thrusted in, that we are thrust ourselves into. So take yourself out of that environment. Go outside. The weather's getting nicer. Get some sun. And if you are nervous, there are a lot of places out there that there are open spaces. There are places that you're not going to need to be around other people, but you do need to be around yourself. And if you're willing to do just a little bit more work, you can build that immune system, and you can be more connected and less reliant on the technology that I don't think is doing anything for our health. I think it's actually doing something terrible to it. So turn off the music. The sun's on. I know, that sounds crazy, right? All right, have a good day, guys. My rant is over. I'm going to keep on talking about this stuff. I'm going to keep on talking about other things. I just wanted to let you guys know that, like, fitness is not just about a lot of things. Fitness is also about what benefits it is for your body. I think there's a squirrel somewhere. Fitness is not about all of the incredible things that you could do. It's about all of the incredible ways that you can build your immune system. It's about all the ways that you can move with a lot more freedom in this world, without the anxiety, without the overstimulation that sometimes comes with having to push yourself and go, 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 go. I'm not gonna edit this. I'm just gonna post it. We're gonna go with it. Maybe this helped you, maybe it didn't, but we're gonna keep on going. We're gonna keep on having these conversations because they're important and they matter, and your health matters, and your mental health matters, your physical health matters, your emotional health matters, and knowing that they all come together is what's gonna help us get stronger and more healthy as individuals and as a society. So have a good day, get outside, put your phone down. Please, please just put it down. Walk away from it, go for a walk. Have a good day. I'll see you guys around soon. Bye.